Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2020 Subaru Outback Wagon, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness. So what I think is really cool about this setup is whenever you're not using the wiring, it's going to be out of sight and out of the weather. It's going to be really easy whenever you are ready to hook up to your trailer or maybe even a light up hitch mounted accessory. All you're going to have to do is open up your hatch, flip open your floor covering, and take your wiring out of storage. So the way this is going to work is it's simply just going to drape over your threshold here. You can drape it over anywhere you want other than one spot. You want to do your best to avoid the latch area because if the wiring gets pinched in there, it could get damaged. So it's best just to avoid that. So we'll kind of let it hang. And then we just close our hatch and we're ready to hook up. And while we're here, I did notice how long our wiring is going to be. It's pretty convenient. We're not going to have to worry about not being able to connect to our trailer or whatever it is we're plugging into. Now at the end on our four-way connector here, we are going to have a nice rubber dust cap. And that's really going to help keep any dirt and debris. And even though it does live on the inside of our vehicle, moisture could still potentially penetrate and corrode the terminals. That's what the cap's there for, to protect them. I do recommend, though, from time to time, just to kind of go that extra mile to apply some dielectric grease on them, and that'll ensure that they stay in perfect condition. Now the cap, too, what you can use it for, if you move down here to our hitch, is to temporarily store the wiring outside. So you kind of loop it around and plug it in like that. Now you typically do that in a situation where, say, you drop your trailer, maybe plan on coming back to pick it up in an hour or so. Just route it like this. That way you don't have to put it back inside of the Subaru and pull it back out whenever you're ready to hook up again. So this kit is also going to use a module box. And that module box is really important. What that's going to do is protect your Subaru's factory wiring if a short or an electrical issue were to occur on the trailer side. And that would really put my mind at ease, especially with today's Subarus. Inside, they tend to have a lot of advanced electronics. Our wiring is going to put out a maximum of 3 amps per circuit for our stop and turn signals and 6 amps per circuit for our running lights. So more or less what that means is it's going to provide us with plenty of power, whether we're using older style incandescent bulbs or newer style LEDs. So overall, really reliable and easy way to power up your lights. Now as far as the installation goes, it's really not too bad. And for those of you that actually installed wiring in older model Subarus, it is going to be a little bit different as the factory plug is in a different location. But I'll show you where I found it and how I plugged it in. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and do that together now. To begin our install, we're going to be here at the back of our Subaru, and we're going to need to work inside of the hatch, so we'll go ahead and open up the door. We're going to need to remove our floor coverings, so we'll go ahead and lift this centerpiece up and out of the way. You can also grab the side panel, and then we can grab the storage compartment and set that off to the side as well. Over here on the passenger side, we can also remove this portion of our floor covering and set it to the side. Now we can get our threshold removed, and to do that, it just pops off more or less. We start at one end, kind of just pulling straight up. We can work it off and set it to the side. With the threshold out of the way, it exposed the factory connector that we were looking for. To give us a little more room to work, I'm just going to cut this tape. Be a little easier to handle. And eventually we're going to have to find a spot to mount up our box. So what I think I'm going to do is remove this foam piece, and that should free up some space as well to find a good location for that. The way this foam is secured is with 2 push-pin style fasteners, just like that. You take a trim tool or even a flathead screwdriver, pry underneath the head of it, and pop it out to remove it. The same thing for this one right here. And once we have that done, get our foam piece out of the way. At this point, we can grab our wiring, and you want to make sure that the fuse is not installed in the fuse holder here. We're going to do that once we have everything hooked up. We're going to take the connector in and simply plug it into our factory connector. And then we can grab our white wire with the pre-attached ring terminal and secure that to the body of our vehicle, because that's going to act as a ground. So what I think I'm going to do is ground it on this solid piece of metal right here out of the way. The way I'm going to do that is by using the provided self-tapping screw. Now that we have our connections made, we can take the included fuse, pop that into the holder, and close up your dust cover. And that'd be a good time to mount up our module box. And I think I'm going to mount it back here in this little opening out of the way. What you do want to do is make sure that the surface is nice and clean. So I just use some rubbing alcohol. I'm going to reach back there and clean it off. Do the same thing to the bottom of our box. Go ahead and grab our included sticky tape. Push it on the box. And get that other backing paper off. We can reach back and stick it to the body of our vehicle. So here's what the box looks like once we have it stuck to the body of our vehicle. And now what I'll do is come back to some zip ties, kind of clean up our wiring, and I'll show you what it'll look like once I have it done. Here's what all of our wiring looks like after I secured it using some zip ties. Since that's all nice and tidy now, we can go ahead and start to reassemble all of our interior pieces. We can set our little foam container back into place, and what I like to do is store our 4-way connector in this compartment whenever we're not using it. So we'll just kind of tuck that down there for now. Before you do pull your trailer down the road, it's not a bad idea to test out your wiring to make sure it's working properly. So I'm just hooked up to a tester that you can pick up here at eTrailer, or you could always just hook up to your trailer and do it that way. And that being said, go ahead and try our left turn, our right turn, our brake lights, and our running lights. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness on our 2020 Subaru Outback Wagon.